How's it going? Yeah, it's hard to see. I'm back, and I know that you are thankful that I'm back. Boy, it's hot outside. I just watered the plants outside. The heat index is 115 here in Tulsa. It's nasty. I don't use or gratify that, but in any case, well, yeah. Okay, so there's two more theories I want to talk about. I think only two for chapter 2. God, my brain. There's a TV. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's what. Okay. So the first is cultivation theory. QT. So this is also under media analysis, that section, or media studies. Media theories. These are all theories about how persuasion works. And cultivation is a pretty common theory, and it's pretty obvious and pretty easy to understand, I think, I hope. So it's really about TV viewing and views of reality. But I also think we can make it bigger. I don't think it's just about TV. It's also about social media, Facebook, Instagram, maybe. But news, Twitter, I would argue. But, you know, and you can't see that at all, can you? But that's fine. But in any case, here's the idea. Bigger is important here. Everything is hyperbolized. What's a hyperbole? It's an exaggeration. Basically, the idea, you remember, if it in contemporary media's age, things need to be theatrical and whoa, a spectacle. If it bleeds, it leads. And so, what happens when we watch a lot of television, particularly when we see lots of television, the various views on television, the patterns that we see in television content. If I am a heavy TV user, and I'm not really, I used to be, but I'm not. I went through a 12-step program. Then I'm going to start to see the world that way. That's the idea. And so the big, and they cut across program genres, the theory says. The big idea here, well, there's a couple of big ideas here, but on page 61, middle of the page 61, this is something that you could highlight. The assumption is that heavy television viewers do not get as wide a variety of information about the world as do light television viewers. In other words, those people who watch a great deal of television, it is assumed are more likely to see the world as television portrays it. Light viewers, on the other hand, form their opinions about the world from a variety of sources, TV, newspapers, blah, 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 blah. So here is the big claims, declaim that they advance. So we got this ideas, but heavy viewers, I'm not talking about heavy viewers, like pounds, people who watch a lot of television, and I'm not talking about that show, the 600-pound show. Heavy viewers tend to see the world as meaner than do light viewers, and the heavy viewers mistrust people more than light viewers. Other research has found that sex role, age role, and political and religious stereotypes can be attributed to television viewing. So cultivation analysis argues that television and other media have a powerful cumulative effect on viewers. And we start seeing the world in a particular way. Consider recent allegations that the entertainment industry markets violence to young viewers as you read the ethical discussion. That would be really good for a blog. So the basic idea is the more, and violence has been sort of one of the main aspects or consequences of folks who do cultivation type of analysis. That we see so much violence on television, we tend to think that the world is more violent than it actually is. Is it violent? Of course it is. We just saw the tragedy in Orlando. We just saw, well, this is not people on people violence, but I just got a Huffington Post thing that found the body of that poor little boy. I think it was a boy, the 2-year-old, doesn't matter, who was snatched by the alligator in Orlando. Just terrible, terrible stuff. But, you know, every time, you know, sometimes we see the news and they have little good news story, yay, but they don't focus on the good. So we tend to think the world is worse and terrible and blah blah blah. Yes, it is. The world is full of tragedy, but it's also full of comedy. Life is a tragic comedy, and a comedic tragedy. It's everything all at once at the same time. So that's part of it. So the people who watch a lot of television tend to see the world the way that the television sort of offers it, and that's problematic. Television becomes the main teacher of society, and as a persuadee, you're trying to reach target audiences. You're trying to reach people who watch TV if you do a TV commercial. But as a persuadee, it's a persuader, but a persuadee, you need to be very, very careful about thinking, okay, I've watched this show. This is what reality is really like. And you all know that already, but it's amazing how many people say, this is the way the world is because that's what the news says. Be careful. Cultivation theory. Cult of personality. Cultivation theory. Okay. Agenda setting is another very, very popular theory when it comes to media. Basically, media tells us what to think about. Not necessarily what to think, but what to think about. Because they are selective. And pretty much every news, they have different perspectives, but they focus on the same thing. Breaking news, this is it. What do they focus on? So particularly news folks and journalists and all that type of stuff, that's what we're thinking about, the folks on the news. What do they cover? They cover certain things, and they don't cover other things. So they set the agenda, all right? That's one of the reasons why politicians they want the media to follow what they think the agenda is, what's important for our country. Is it a foreign policy? Is it domestic policy? Is it economics? Is it gun control or what is it? So they control the agenda. That's bad. Three-part process here, media agenda set, and so there's lots of different things in here, but I say there's a three-part process. So first, the media agenda is set. The media agenda includes the stories and articles that they decide what they're going to cover. The type of coverage they provide determined several ways, as we discussed. Media part of a larger social system. About four types of relationships, according to Reese, may exist between media and three external forces. So they set what were the media public part. Let me do this. I'll preview and then go back. So they set the agenda. They of what's important, the media agenda, what media is going to cover, and therefore oftentimes they create the public agenda, the second step. And that is, what is important in our public, and then for our society, and it talks a little bit about different Romney and blah, blah, blah. I'll let you read all that type of stuff. And then finally, policy agenda, which is created by the public agenda, in any case. So, media, this is the first one, media agenda set. So we got all these different things, high power source and high power medium. So that stuff basically says that in this relationship, media and their sources may agree on what the media agenda should be, or they may disagree, in which case a struggle is set when the media agenda occurs. So let's say Obama wants everybody to focus on the violence in Orlando, and CNN agrees, so the agenda is set. That's what everybody's focusing on. Because CNN is, I don't know what the most viewed news program is. Who knows? But CNN is pretty powerful. New York Times, Washington Post, whatever. Trump just said he doesn't want the Washington Post to cover him. That's interesting. Then we have high power source but low power medium. The source uses the medium to reflect his or her views. The President of the United States communicate with the local newspaper. So that type of relationship. Then low power source, high power medium. The medium sets its own agenda. because it minimizes the voices of others. You know, if I call into CNN and say, hey, I want you to cover my class, yeah. Or note, like Columbia College, we are sort of a low power source, and we have these more high power mediums like local television stations, stuff like that. I mean, Dr. Rosenthal was just quoted in the State today. If you haven't seen that, go see it. But for the most part, do we see the Koalas, our athletic teams being covered in the sports section? No. We're to try, but that is. The medium sets its own agenda and minimizes the voices of us. Low power source, low power medium. In this situation, the events of the day control the media agenda, depending.